All right, how you guys doing? It's me again, and I feel like I could add more to my last video. Um, you're listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. If it's your first time listening, welcome. I am your host, Seth, also known as Lucifer, also known as the King of Hell, also known as the High Evolutionary, because I'm evoluting your DNA at an accelerated rate, and King the Conqueror, because I'm an interdimensional, uh, time, multiple time conquering, uh, despot. Multiple timeline conquering despot. Okay, so um, the interesting thing, because at the end of the video, I'm talking about the Illuminati sending subliminal messaging to me to for STDs. They have a thing they like. I think they want. I don't think I'm the only one that they do that to. I think they it's part of their shtick to try to give people STDs. Um, and I think that they're very confident in that functioning, because there is, like, you can look it up, by the way, just for all you conspiracy theorists out there, if you haven't heard of that. There is, you can look it up on Google, whatever you're using, but you can find this information on Google. There has been a recorded experiment, as of, they took like a couple of psychic people, and they had a target, and they would ask these people to give the target warts on his hand. So they would use some kind of technique of suggestion to the target, and allegedly, if it's any true at all, allegedly the target did end up with having warts on his hand. So this has been proven to work. This has been proven to work. Now, if you're interested in that sort of thing, that is a real thing that you can look up right now. Like, it won't even take you like that long to find it. Like, so just write like experiment, thought experiment, and warts, warts on hands, thought experiment, and you'll probably find it very quickly. Like, it's not even something it's not hidden. You don't need to go to any CIA document website, Onion Road type shit. No, it's like the information's out there, so for anyone to see. And I feel like they've developed this technique, and I feel like they put a lot of money in these suggestion technique, auto suggestive techniques. I can't really say how I'm aware that they invested a lot in that particular technique, but there's some techniques that they invest more money in. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't know why there's specific techniques that invest so much effort in. But there are particular techniques that they like, astral travel. Pardon me for saying, but they invest a lot in astral traveling. They're very deep into astral traveling, and I have noticed that I think that they're kind of having a second wind right now, which isn't good. That's not a good thing. They're kind of having a second wind, and there's new blood. They have new blood. They have fresh corpses. Meaning, there's new people on the playing field. There's new soldiers. They have new soldiers on the playing field right now. And I have heard of people talk about ayahuasca before. I've spoken about ayahuasca before, but I'm starting to notice there's like an upsurge of ayahuasca, usage. Now, I don't know how truthful that is, because sometimes they be saying shit, that they use certain spirits and stuff, and then you use the spirit and then you see they don't really, that's bullshit. They don't fucking use that spirit at all. So like, I don't know if that's the case for ayahuasca, because I don't really consider ayahuasca a good or bad entity, mostly because it's an entity of being drunk. And maybe, I guess, the pandemic is one of the reasons why people are going through this process of, because like I said in my last video, I feel like somebody's consuming more than they should. Like, it's affecting, somebody's really drunk and drinking a lot, and I don't think it's anybody that I know personally. I severely doubt it. I feel like this energy comes from somewhere unknown. Like I said, I'm seeing signs that there's a new guy coming in, and maybe it wasn't one guy, maybe it was a multitude of people, because I'm starting to notice there's a multitude of people coming in, and not for us, but for them, like for the Illuminati. There's a multitude of new things coming in for them, which isn't good, which is not good at all. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. I think they're going to end up being cannon fodder for me, for all this. Well, for me, they're probably gonna be cannon fodder, but because not everybody's on my level, or not everybody's even interested on being on my level. So, and I say that with a heavy heart on my hand. But it is true. A lot of people rather just fucking sell out and make their lives fucking easy, and fucking sell out and do stupid shit. That is not the case for me. Never really been a sold out kind of person. I have thought about it a couple of times, but the whole pedophilia thing is kind of turning me off. The whole pedophilia thing is a bit of a turn off. It's a bit of a deal breaker, because I'm not into that. I like, real humans. If I'm gonna have any form of sexual interaction, it would be with a full-grown human being, male or female. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, man, I thought like that would be like an interesting thing, because I have to be aware that not everybody knows everything, and because at the end of the day, we make these videos and we suspect, like, the thing with us, some people, especially with new with the problem with leaders and some spiritualists, like, dare I say, gurus or sages. I'm not gonna say sages, because for some people guru has a negative connotation, so I would just say sages and leaders. When we're new to this, we have a tendency to get like annoyed quickly, because we don't know why the person doesn't understand the fucking thing that you're saying, and we assume that people are smart enough to do their own research. So we talk, and we talk about stuff that a lot of people might be completely oblivious about, thinking that it's fucking normal, but it's not. And we assume that people are going to do research. Like, I just assume that, like, saying, Illuminati's trying to give me STDs, everybody's going to fucking believe me. And, it's out there. The information's out there. They've been doing this since the 1970s. Everybody knows about it, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not true. That's irrational. That's an irrational thought that I am having, to think that everyone knows what they're doing. People know a lot of things about what they're doing, but they don't know everything about what they're doing. Like, just like me, I don't know everything about what they're doing. I know a lot of things that they're doing. I don't know everything that they're doing. I don't live with them. I don't. So So most of the time we tend to have this tendency to be like, we don't even say look it up. We're just gonna say some shit, and you know, and we assume that everybody in the room understands perfectly well what we're talking about, you know. So these are one thing. That's one thing that you can, like. It does sound crazy if somebody says that, oh, the Illuminati send me subliminal messages so I can have, say, STDs. If there's a regular person, that would sound crazy. But if you do the research, if you check, and most people will not, especially when they're like flying by a video like this, they're not really gonna research things. They're gonna listen to the video. They're gonna take the information in consideration. They might be like, it could happen, or maybe he's tripping, you know. But then if you do the research, then you know how far and extensive the research on, you know, auto suggestion is, you know, as of hypnosis, you know, suggestions, you know, sleight of hand, you know, illusions, you know, and stuff like that. You know, they spend a lot of money in those, you know, shit. That's how advertising works. Advertising is hypnosis. Advertisement is hypnosis. I mean, like, it's we got it down to a science. I mean, like, if you go to advertising school, you know, they're gonna tell you what colors to use to grab somebody's attention. Like, if you walk by, if you like bright orange, right, you can't miss that, right? If I make a commercial and I put a billboard, and the billboard is bright orange, bro, there's a chance that most people will walk right by without noticing it. But there's also a very big chance that most people are going to notice, because it's a bright color. It gains attention. So they're trying to grab your attention as, you know, as you're walking by, you know. So advertisement is a form of magic, you know, kind of, you know, you're using psychological tricks, you know, mental acrobatics in order to gain attention, just like a catchphrase. You know, the catchphrase, it stays in your head. That's why it's a catchphrase, right? And that's why you have to have a good catchphrase, because if you have a good catchphrase, people are going to remember that. It's just like fucking Fanta, right? The only reason why Fanta is back is because of that stupid fucking commercial from the 90s. You know, it's because of that stupid commercial. It was catchy. It was bright. There was a bunch of colors. It was catchy. It stays in your head, and it's gonna stay in your head in a long time, bro. And the company fell off 3 billion years ago, like fucking 10 years ago, and now it's back because of one fucking commercial. Because people want some Fanta because of that fucking song. You know, so advertisement is just like magic, right? So they spend a lot of time in these things. These are some things that they have mastered, right? Now, I'm not saying if the Illuminati is trying to give you SD, I'm not saying it's that easy. You know, you still have to be a suggestible person, but you have to understand the Illuminati works on a very small frequency. They work on low frequencies. So all these tricks and hooplas that, you know, hula hoops that they're hooping around, you know, like, they're low vibrational shit, right? So that's why it works on a good amount of people, but a good amount of people are on a low vibration too, you know. So, and a lot of people are on a low vibration too. So, you know, they invest a lot in low vibrational shit, because, and they are confident in their low vibrational shit because there's a lot of low vibratory folks, you know, and they prey on that. They prey on people because they know that they might not be on a higher vibration, and they're not going to try, and they're not going to do anything that's high vibrational for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because they're evil, I guess. That's an easy answer. But, you know, like, most of the time it's low vibration shit. Like let's say like advertisement is low vibrational magic, right? It's low vibrational magic. It's not that big of a deal. It's like I said, most people are gonna walk past the bright orange billboard, right? And not give two flying fiddlesticks, right? But there's also a lot of people that will pay attention to that. Like I can honestly say, if I walk past a bright orange billboard, I'm gonna look at it, right? I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is that? You know, and some people won't, but I'm pretty sure I'm one of those people that would be like, what is that? You know, and I'm gonna remember the fucking catchphrase too. That's the worst part. So, it's like Fanta. I never forgot that fucking song, and I'm never gonna fucking forget it. There's songs that you're never gonna forget because they're so fucking, catchy and shit, So, slogans are important. Those are the things that people remember. Those are like the key access point. Like, slogans are key access point to a person or a movement, right? Like, if you want your movement to be remembered, if you want a person to be remembered, you put a slogan behind it. You put a slogan behind it and people are going to remember it, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure people remember the thing I used to say when I opened up my videos. I used to say, before the whole mess started, I used to say, welcome, my name is Lucifer, and if you're wondering what is Lucifer doing on earth, well, let me tell you, he's talking about everything that the earth is made of, which is what? Business and spirituality. There's some people that are going to remember that. It's kind of catchy, it's on purpose, and I do that on purpose, because I know you're going to remember it, and so anybody can use those tricks, and they're not super powerful, super duper powerful tricks. They're not, it's just a trick. But the thing about magic is, it's not necessarily that you have to do something grandiose. Sometimes a small thing repeatedly made can be just as damaging as one thing. Hold up. Sorry, I got interrupted. The sound. I might lose the sound here. I hope this is okay. I'm going to keep going. Hopefully the sound's okay. If the sound's bad, oh, my bad. Anyway, I want you guys to watch my other video. I think it's pretty interesting. And I don't think we're going to keep talking about cups, because that's my magic system that I invented and I discovered. And if you hear it anywhere else, well, they took it from me. So, but I will reference cups a lot here on this channel. We will talk about cups a lot. You're going to hear me say that a lot, because it's very important. It's very important. It's very powerful. It's very potent, and it's very important. Especially if you're a magic practitioner, you should definitely grow into that sort of line of thinking. Because I know it sounds, when you're thinking about cups, you're thinking about cup half full. You're thinking about slogans, right? You're thinking about mottos and slogans, and cup half full, blah blah blah. Don't spill your cup, and blah blah. But in actuality, it's a lot more than that. It stems from somewhere. As most slogans do. So, like I said, these things are low vibrational. It of course, when you're not initiated, if you're not initiated into magic, or you're not initiated in in business, if you're not initiated in business, because even in business, that's not the end all tell all of business. Advertisement is not like the end all tell all of business. You still have to have a good product. You still have to so there's a lot of things that you have to figure out or mend, right? So, but advertisement is kind of like magic. I mean, you're trying to capture people, you're trying to stay in their heads, you're trying to hypnotize them, you're trying to make them remember you as much as you possibly can. And there's a reason for that, because there's other people doing it too. Like, if you don't have an edge, then you'll never be as successful as the other guy. Right, and the other guy is always going to be successful, and he's always going to have all the clients, and you won't have any clients ever, because everybody's going towards him. right? Just like what's going on right now with humanity and the Illuminati. I feel humanity is not making enough advertisement, right? Humanity thinks that it doesn't need advertisement or marketing. Humanity thinks that they don't need advertisement or marketing. Well, it does, especially today. Humanity needs advertisement and marketing, especially today, because like these guys are doing all the advertisement and fucking marketing, and they're collecting all the souls. They're basically collecting all of everybody's fucking soul, which is deplorable. Like it's a deplorable thing. It's a deplorable, like we are at a deplorable state. You know, we're at a deplorable state. Um, so it would be good if humanity had some, marketing and advertisement too. As of, do the right thing and good things will happen and shit. Like, some shit like that. I don't fucking know. Of course, I'm kidding here, but there's some truth behind it. There's a little bit of truth behind it because, like, some people still feel like this is a physical battle, and in some cases it is. In some cases it is, but some people still feel like it's a physical battle. And the reason why is because you ain't got no help, right? Or you feel like you don't have no help. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you don't have no help, so you think that you have to physically get on it because, well, that's the only way you can make noise, right? And if you don't make that kind of noise, then the whole world is going to crumble. You're going to be surrounded by, all kinds of fuck boys and shit like that, which we are already, but it's not over. If you're still alive, there's a reason, right? Like if you're still alive, there's a fucking reason, bro. Like if you're not dead yet, there's a fucking reason. If you're not in a fucking concentration camp, it's for a fucking reason. It's not just because it's not just because they pity us and shit like that. I mean, like, look at the fucking candidate they had for a presidency. They had Joe Biden. The guy can't even fucking stand up. He about to die in 5.6 seconds. You know what I mean? Does that look like a group of people that have that much support? Not to me, it doesn't. Like, that is not the best. That's not I don't feel like that's a good look. I mean, a lot of these people, these sycophants, these fucking sycophants are just fucking completely bedazzled by these groups of people, and yet this is not a good look. Their leader is fragile. The person that they use to put in power is shaky like a leaf, and that just, I mean, if you had that much power, you could have done better. Like, shit, man, dare I even say, I don't even think you need that much power and you would still do better, to be quite honest. So yeah, not looking good to me. This is not looking good. I mean, sure, like I said, they're gonna do their little tricks and they're gonna try to act tough and shit. But all that is just smoke screens. It's just smoke screens. It's nothing. It's hoopla. It's like and yeah, I mean, like people are getting touched up on the business tip. But the thing about business is there's two types of people, right? And this is gonna be a hard pill to swallow. And if you're lucky, well, the sound of this video was gonna be a little bit off, so you won't even hear it, and nobody else will either. But there's the business dude that just wants to make enough money to live. And then there's the business guy that really likes doing business. And the reason why these are different is because the business guy that really loves business, I mean, like, he's gonna do everything. Like, there's no stopping him. Like, he's not gonna stop at one business. He's not gonna stop at one business. It's not gonna stop after one success. He wants, you know what I mean, he's gonna create and keep creating. He's gonna keep innovating, because you're kind of like an inventor, right? When you do business, you kind of like, you invent things, right? I mean, like, so you're inventing platforms, you're being creative, you're trying new things, and those people won't really feel. I mean, they might get hit here and there, obviously, but it's gonna take more than that. It's gonna take more than just taking a small hit on one of his enterprises to make him sell out. And there's not enough people like that, I feel like, because the thing that what I'm trying to say here, okay, I'm gonna just be straight. Bro. I'm gonna just be straight. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you guys might wanna, feel like saying something, feel like you're in a position to say something, and do something about what's going on and shit like that. And I completely agree. But the thing is, you might be a little bit fearful when it comes to business. And the thing is, there's nothing that like, if I was with you, we wouldn't run out of cash, right? What I'm trying to say here, what I mean by that is not necessarily that we're not going to run out of cash, but we're not going to fall over. And the reason for that is because we do everything. We don't have just one business and we sit on our laurels and it's just that business and that's it. No, we have multiple businesses. We have multiple avenues, multiple streams of income, right? And yeah, one or many of them can take a hit, bro. But there's always a solution. And you know what? Can I be honest for a second? I'm gonna be honest for a second, and you guys ain't gonna like it. I know you guys ain't gonna like it, but I'm gonna be honest for a second, man. I feel like, regardless of the physical or mental wars that we're having with these people, I feel like, we're being challenged, right? Either by life or by them. I feel like we're being challenged, and because at the end of the day, you have to realize these guys have been creating this. They have been working on this system for quite some time, at least 2,000 years. No, okay, maybe not 2,000. Yeah, no, at least like almost 2,000 years, right? 500, let's say 800 years. They have been, like, because that's too much, that's a too high number. Let's say they've been working on this for eight. Of course it's more than that, but we're going to talk about modern society, telephones and shit like that, right? Vehicles, telephones and shit like that. So we've been working on this fucking project here for 800 years, a good 800 years, right? Locomotion and blah blah blah, science and whatnot, right? So, but they've been pouring out these things themselves. Of course, they didn't invent any of those things. They took it from somebody else and then they mass produced whatever they stole. But they've been working more or less. It's still people that are working around the clock to do their bidding, right? So these people, regardless, they have to be tired of this shit. In some shape or form, they have to be tired. And not only that, we're spoiled. Like I said in my last video, we're spoiled because we sit there and we complain about the state of the world. We complain about, like, everything wanting to become gay, but we ain't doing shit about it. Like, yesterday I was thinking about this. I'm like, why is there just one Hollywood? Like, there's a bunch of millionaires out there. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm sorry to put billionaires and millions on blast like this, bro. But this is kind of weird. Like, I'm starting to think I live inside of a spaceship, bro. Because Because 2 plus 2 is 4. I know I'm not the greatest at math, but I do know math. I can do math, bro. And I'm sit there and I'm looking at fucking okay, like you're not a business person. You might not, if you're listening to this video, you might not be a business person. But I look at net worths, not network, but net worths of people. I look at business conditions, and projections, right? I look at certain projections in certain businesses. I look at world economies, GDP systems. I look at GDP systems, and none of this shit makes sense. It don't make fucking sense. Like how? Like, cause we talk about spirituality and shit, and everybody wants to be spiritual, and that's good, that's great and shit. But I feel the only reason why everybody want to be spiritual is because we have the fear of God in us. Because we're starting to see that the end of the motherfucking world is coming. Or maybe not. Maybe not even. Maybe we just, because like I said, 2012, something happened. Everybody woke the fuck up. Like, like everybody just systematically woke up. Like there was like a tide, a tsunami of people believing in spirituality all of a sudden, right? So it feels, so this doesn't add up. So, and that's fine. And that's great, but is it necessary? Like, does everybody need to be spiritual? Not really. I don't see anything wrong with the system. I don't think it's fine. The parks look great. The housing could be better, but it still look good. There ain't nothing wrong here. I don't see anything wrong here with this shit, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with a bicycle. There's nothing wrong with a car. There's nothing wrong with a house. There's nothing wrong with food. There's nothing wrong with none of this shit. There's nothing wrong with fast food even. There's nothing wrong with none of it. Everything is fine. But the thing is, but now it's not fine because of all of these spiritual warfare, all of the spiritual warfare that these guys are causing, all the spiritual chaos that these guys are causing. All this shit is not fine, but it is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Owning a car is not a crime. Building a car, you're not going to go to hell. It feels like sometimes there's like an underlying tone of like, if you're a fucking car manufacturer, you're gonna go to hell for building cars because it pollutes the ozone and shit. It pollutes the fucking atmosphere and shit like that. And you're gonna fucking die for creating cars and shit. That's bullshit. Okay, like that's bullshit, bro. Like that's bullshit, man. And like, and it feels like it feels like religion is kind of telling us we're going to go to hell because of modern society. Modern society is unacceptable, right? And this goes back to the days of the Tower of Babel. Like I said before in my other video, God comes around every time humanity starts to progress. That's when God comes around, and he fucking wipes everything out. And then you got the Illuminati, right? And to me, the Illuminati is the hand of God. I think the Illuminati is the hand of God. I sincerely think the Illuminati is the hand of God. They are doing God's work. You think it's a fucking coincidence that Drake made a fucking video named God's Plan? That's not a coincidence. It's not. It's just not. So, like, and we're progressing and we're building bigger and we're building better. Pardon the pun here, but we are building better. Sorry, should have did that before the video. We are building better, and then this shit comes along. We have this nonsensical LGBTQ nonsense in the face, which is ridiculous because nobody's that fucking homophobic. Not today. Nobody's that homophobic. That's just ridiculous. That's nonsense. That's bullshit. Okay, that's this whole LGBTQ shit is complete and utter nonsense. Nobody's like not today. In the 90s, it was bad. In the 90s, like the 90s was bad. I ain't gonna lie. 90s was fucked up. You know, I ain't gonna lie, bro. 90s was fucked up, bro. Like it was bad, but not today. And we grew out of that shit. And we grew out of that shit in the 90s. Because, like, late 90, 98, 99 and shit like that, bro. Like, in early 2000s, people were not attacking gays. You know, like, and it feels, and they're creating this narrative as if something's wrong with us, as if we're the ones that have a problem accepting things, but it's not fucking true. There's none of that shit going on. They're just creating things just to be annoying or whatever, you know, and just to cause chaos. And it's not even, it has nothing to do, and they know that, and they're not stupid. They know that nobody has a problem with gays. So the reason why they're doing it is to put us in fear. And it's working. You know, and it's working, you know, because no one has a problem with gay people. It's all bullshit. It's like I don't, there is such a thing as racism, man. As much as I would like to not to believe that it exists, there is such a thing as racism, bro. And there is such a thing as systematic racism too, also, man. But I've lived with a lot of white people during my time, dude, and you know, they're not the same. Like the white people I see today is not the same white people that used to whip us, you know what I mean, and fucking, you know, throw dogs at us and shit like that. This is very clearly two different set of people. If any of that is true, anyways, you know, and it might be true in some cases, you know what I mean, but you know, white people that we live with today are definitely not those guys, you know, and it's not perfect, and change takes time, and you know, and black people have a little part of the responsible for some of the fucking hatred that's coming towards us too. By the motherfucking way, you know. So, but nonetheless, regardless of all the bullshit that's going on, people were changing for the better, and then all of a sudden, Black Lives Matter. What? They're creating events, and the people that have common sense, that are not spiritual, they're gonna be scared. Not scared that it's, you know, oh shit. No, but they're gonna be worried about the future. They're gonna see that this is bullshit. People are changing. I don't know why this fucking shit is here. And they're going to look around. They're going to notice that the Illuminati exists. They're going to notice that a bunch of people are part of the Illuminati. And they are going to be worried about the motherfucking future because of it. And that's the point. That's why they're doing that. It has nothing to do with, it's not a racial thing. It's not a gender thing. It has nothing to do with that. They're just putting fear of God in us. That's what they're doing. And that's the only thing. That's the only reason why this is happening. Because nobody has a problem with anybody. Not really. I mean, there is isolated incidents. And sure, there might be some towns that are a little bit more regressive than others. You know, that could happen. That is true. But it's a normal process. But regardless, we were doing fine. We were progressing. Right? And it seems like, and it looks like every time every time humanity does some sort of progress, we get hit with a whirlwind of bullshittery. I mean, that's what happened in the Tower of Babel. In the Tower of Babel, the people of Earth, all the Atlanteans, all the Africans, the Atlantafricans, all the Atlantafricans were living on Earth. And they built a thriving civilization. Everybody was happy. Everything was beautiful. And then because of it, they decided, you know what? Man, we sitting here, bro, thinking we the shit. You know what? Let's build something to show how grateful we are. Let's do a great work, and let's build a tower so we can reach the heavens. Right? Let's commemorate the gods. Let's commemorate divinity, and let's commemorate our ascension to our progress. And let us connect with the gods by building a tower. And they build a tower. God was like, "What, bitch? Fuck that shit. Y'all think y'all better than me, bitch? I'm gonna destroy your fucking tower. And not only that, none of you motherfuckers will ever be able to talk to each other anymore." Doesn't that sound familiar? Because if you skip a couple pages, if you skip 3,000, if you skip 200 and 500 pages, if you if you skip 2,500 pages and you go to the end of the fucking book, what does it say about the apocalypse? At the end times, women and children, parents and children won't be able to get along. And there will be a communication blockage where people will speak and not be able to understand what each other is saying. They're going to attack each other and shit like that. That's the same shit in the Tower of Babel. Because if you cut the communication, if you take a bunch of people and you give them different languages, what's going to happen? It's going to cause separation, right? And what is the separation going to cause? Infighting and outfighting, right? So they're going to fight between themselves to see who's the leader and shit like that. And they're going to fight other people because now they have to figure out who's going to lead. But then you can't really figure out who's going to lead because they speak a different language and then those speak a different language. So logically speaking, why would I go and get led by a person that I don't understand? So what's going to happen at the end? Everybody goes their own way, right? And everybody's separated, right? And look at today. Everybody's separated. Everybody's trying to go in their own way because nobody can understand each other. Nobody can communicate. So everybody end up just going their own way. It's the same shit. It's history repeating itself. God destroys humanity every time humanity makes progress. There's nothing wrong with the internet. There's nothing wrong. What the internet do? Did the internet kill somebody? Can you kill somebody with the internet? Can the internet come out of your computer and strangle you to death? Like, you know, like like, is it a person? Is the internet a person? Like, if it was a person though, okay, yeah, actually, yeah, you could put a little bit of blame on Mr. Internet if it was a actual living person, right? But it's not, bro. It's an inanimate object. It's a tool. It's like telling me a monkey wrench is the most pure evil thing that humanity has ever existed. It's just a fucking monkey wrench. It doesn't do anything. If nobody touches it, it's not going to do shit. It's going to stay there and it's just going to be a monkey wrench for eternity. So how can the monkey wrench be evil? No, the people that use the monkey wrench to club somebody else over the head with, that's the guy that might or might not be evil. You know, like, because that's a whole nother ball game. You know, you can't just say somebody's evil because he clubbed somebody on the head with the fucking monkey wrench. There's probably a fucking reason why that happened. So now you have to figure that one out. So, you know, it's a little bit harsh. It's a little bit hasty, and I do not, like I said before, this is how we ended up in this conversation. I do not believe in this context of, you know, we're like so savage that we don't know what to do if nobody tells us what to do. I severely doubt that shit. That's stupid. Humans are intelligent. You know, a dog, a cat, animals are intelligent. You know, birds make nests. They're not stupid. Have you ever seen a bird's nest? They fucking braid sticks together. They braid branches together, bro. Like, that's what? That's not something a stupid person like. I can't even braid hair, and this motherfucker's making a nest out of branches. like like animals are not stupid, bro. Like lions are not fucking stupid. Like bears aren't fucking stupid. Bears know that they love honey. They love honey. They love maple syrup, and they know how to get honey and maple syrup. They can recognize honey. It's not like they're stupid and a honeybee fell on his head and then he eats it and then he's gonna wait for another time that a honeybee waits for smacks him on the head before eating it. Right? No, he knows what honey is. He's aware of what it tastes like. He's aware of what it looks like, and if he wants some, he can get some. You know what I mean? So nobody's fucking stupid. So you can't tell me that we're smarter than these animals, and these animals are very capable of ingenious lines of thinking. They're very capable of fishing, creating nests, creating homes, and fishing, and having a society. Wolves hang around in packs. They communicate. They know who the leader is. They know what to do. They plan out, do things, and they do it. Everybody got their shit together. But there's an entity that's telling us that humans can't get their shit together. The animals can get their shit together. Animals are way better than humans. I mean, some would say yes. Some people would say yes, but come on. Let's not, dim our light here, and let's come to a mental realization that we're technically smarter than an animal. Technically, maybe it's because we have opposable thumbs, makes it easier for us to pick up things and stuff. Fine, it still makes us smarter though, kind of. Of course, there's some people that might not be smarter than an animal, but generally speaking, we're technically smarter than an animal, generally speaking. And then they tell us, so the animal kingdom's been around since the start of humanity, and they're fine, but we're killing ourselves, or maybe somebody is killing us, and we're not the ones doing none of this shit. Which is what I believe. I don't believe that we're the ones doing any of this. I think somebody is doing it on purpose. And the lack of knowledge that we have is getting in the way of that realization. So anyways, I just wanted to, shoot the shit a little bit with you guys and talk about this thing that you can check out. You can actually check out this, give me a second here. So yeah, all right. So I feel like I should keep going though, but I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. Of course, there are a couple things that I could elaborate on it that would make it interesting. That is interesting, but I will say that it's not easy to, if you have to forgive the uninitiated for not realizing the low frequency attacks that are being sent upon them, because if you're not into all of these things, then these little attacks seems pretty fucking huge. I mean, they're kind of like, it's kind of like, how am I supposed, like, sometimes I watch other people's videos and they have like super good cameras and really good backgrounds and it looks fucking great and shit, and I'm like, bruh, like, how am I supposed to compete against like so I'm like, bro, like, how am I supposed to, and that's the line of thinking of the everyday man. the everyday hero. It kind of like, especially, I mean, like, you're kind of in this world where you're kind of like, well, shit, this is a lot. I'm never, like, I can't beat that. Like, it's like fighting a hydra with 7 fucking heads. Even if I chop one off, 3 more are gonna grow back. Like, and it does feel like that. And quite frankly, that's almost what it is. So but maybe I just like fighting. But anyways, like, for the everyday magician has to forgive the everyday common hero for seeing this illusion as something big when it's really not. you know and it's really not. It's like people keep a lot of secrets. It's like, you would think, okay, it's like, you would think being a doctor is hard until you try being a doctor, right? Or you would think, like, building a car is hard until you build a car, right? So people keep secrets. People don't say everything, right? Like, sometimes you have to figure it out yourself. Sometimes you have to figure it out yourself. And when you start, like, at first you're like, oh man, this looks really complicated. There's a whole bunch of things going everywhere and shit. And then you learn how to build a car and you're like, man, this is fucking simple. Like, this is way more simple than I thought. Like, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot. There's a lot of things that people tend to think is hard to do, but once they do it, they're kind of like, man, this is fucking easy. Like, 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 so it's normal. It's like the perception, and that's why learning is important, because it changes your perception of things. The more it's like, another slogan that everybody remembers, and that's also stems from something actually pretty fucking real. It's like, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. The more you know, it's like, I talk about the sense of scale. That's another tarot card, another item in the tarot that's important. The scales. Well, the scales is not really part of tarot. I wouldn't say it's part of tarot, but there is one card just as has, like, the scale in it. But I wouldn't, anyway. But scaling is a thing. Your value goes up and down, but that's all throughout the day. It's not just, oh, you sucked your whole life, but towards the end you were really good. No, your value changes all day. Especially, well, it depends on who we're talking about, but your value changes all day. Especially if you're like a everyday person. If you're an everyday person, like, let's say you go to work, go to school, blah blah blah, your value changes during the day, whether you're aware or not. And even when just thinking changes your value. Depending on what you're thinking, it might change your value. Like, let's say you think you're the shit, right? And then you watch the Harlem Globetrotters, and they're like doing all kinds of spin moves and shit like that, and you're like, oh shit, those guys are the shit. You just changed the value. And you would think that, well, that's for dark empaths, because not everybody can live like that. I have to live like that because I don't have a choice. But this is mostly for dark empaths, like darkness seeking people, because you would think that being that way means, oh, he's a positive person. He's always encouraging people and shit, like blah 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 blah. And you would see that's good, right? But in actuality, it's not necessarily that good. Because what happens is you're now giving away your power to something else, right? And in some cases, well, it's not that it's okay. Well, in the apocalyptic option map, I have to state it every time I say drop gems like this. I have to say it because I have to, because it is true. It does come from my magic system. I've developed this throughout my magic system. And it's not something. I mean, some of the philosophies that my magic system have are philosophy that are based off of actual existing philosophies, obviously, duh. But I feel like my magic system explains it even better, and you can actually put it into actual physical practice, instead of just, philosophizing just for the sake of philosophizing and never attaining, never transmuting or alchemicizing anything of any value and shit like that. And, because let's like, some some popular philosophers do talk about very interesting subject and very interesting topics, and it's very smart and very well thought out, but it's not necessarily useful, you know. So in my magic system, we believe that the sense of scale is an important thing. You have to value your sense of scale in order to in order to maintain your frequency, your power level, or the frequency that you wish to be on. And it's a little bit dark because then you have to stop. You have to be strong enough to not need an outside source of inspiration, right? More or less speaking. I mean, it's okay to love things. I like a lot of things, and sometimes I do get overzealous and I do get fucking excited and I see some shit and I think it's the coolest shit ever. And, like I'm not perfect, even in my own magic system, I'm not perfect, so, and I think that's okay, of course I do it on purpose. And that's the thing about my magic system, is that I do it on purpose. So I am willingly choosing to give energy to that specific person or that specific thing or that specific line of thinking or that specific, like I'm purposefully putting energy into it, right? Because I want more of it. Because what you focus on is what you will always see, right? So if you focus on something, you're always gonna see that. Like I said, the observer has as much power as the person doing, right? So that is also part of the apocalyptic obsermath magic system. You will learn to become an observer and a doer, right? Or you can be I will judge if you are an observer or a doer. It depends, because people have different affinities. Some people might be stronger just observing, and then some people might be stronger actually doing, right? People are different. So in my system, we actually do it on purpose. If we are going to lower ourselves, which that's not what we're doing, but if we are going to give energy to someone, and it is you are lowering yourself, but don't worry, you can gain it back. It's not a big deal. But you can temporarily, because it is temporary, that drum and bass, that fucking dubstep life music that's playing in the background, it can be turned on and off, right? And it's temporary. It's just like dubstep music. The womp womp is all the time. It's not like 1 second it's calm and then the other second is womp womp. No, it's always womp womp. It's always womp womp. So anyways, in my magic system, we give power where we think we want to give power. So we're doing it on purpose. We become aware of our power in reality. We do not stand there and let reality run us, and then we fall into traps and shit, right? Like if you like basketball, you like certain basketball play, and mind you, I would be careful, because in my magic system, you will develop psychic abilities. You will develop psychic abilities. So if you have to be careful because you can be hit with because like let's say like I like hockey, right? And I would put a lot of pressure on hockey players personally. I have to admit, I would put, whether it's on purpose or not on purpose, I would actually put a lot of pressure on them because I would put hockey on a pedestal. Like I like hockey that much. I'm not fucking around. Like I really like hockey, dude. Like, like I shit you not, bro. I used to play hockey when I was a kid and shit. Like I really like hockey. So I would put it on a pedestal, and it's not just for that. It's because I'm fucking crazy. I'm fucking autistic and shit. So I'll fucking research everything about a fucking thing. It's like, so hockey's actually goes back to fucking Aztec era and shit like that. Actually, they say the Aztecs actually invented hockey. Of course, they were playing with people's heads back in those days, but but apparently that's where hockey comes from. And all sports have, like I said before, all sports have a divine essence, right? It stems from inspiration. It stems from a need, right? It stems from a need of activity. It stems from a need of self-expression. It stems from a need of ex- exhuming oneself out onto reality, right? Without necessarily hurting someone on purpose, right? And stuff like that. And so then you have sports where you are freely to express yourself and be what you can be and feel a sense of achievement and doing something and whatnot, because that's important. And skill development and seeing your skill develop, and it's a whole process, right? So it's divine, right? Like sports is divine. So like just like everything is divine. There's nothing that exists that's not divine. Even even the 18-wheeler that's making all kinds of noise on the boulevard while you're sleeping and pumping out all kinds of toxic fumes out of his fucking exhaust. Even that piece of shit is fucking divine, dude. Like, even that shit is divine. You know what I mean? So I would put hockey on a pedestal if it was up to me. But the thing is, I have psychic abilities. So the spirit of the people that are playing, I can speak to the spirit of the people that are playing, right? And when that happens, and you will develop that, it can be developed, and it will happen, especially if you're doing it on purpose. If you're starting to give energy on purpose, because then it has to happen, or else you're gonna fuck shit up. Like somebody has to, you know what I mean? Like there has to be, the universe has to monitor itself a little bit, or else people would be doing all kinds of fucked up shit. like this wouldn't be the Matrix. This would be the Matrix, but everybody's Neo. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what, if the universe didn't monitor itself a little bit, that's what it would look like. It would be like the Matrix, but everyone's Neo, bro, and everybody's bending spoons and shit. Like it would just be fucking weird. Like you would not need drugs ever. Let's just put it like that. You know what I mean? So what happened was you kind of have access to that because the universe is kind of trying to tell you that you're doing something real. All right. And like it might be fun. You might be having the time of your fucking life, but you're doing something real here. That you're actually affecting this. You're so you kind of develop this psychic skill that kind of links you're kind of linked to the ether of whatever you are observing, right? So then the spirit of that person can talk to you, right? And what happens is sometimes I give too much energy into things, and then I get like a negative response. I get a negative response because that person is young. The person's young. The person is not like you. He's not like you. He's young. He's learning and stuff like that. You're putting too much pressure on him, and that person's gonna feel that pressure. The more, the more into something you are, the more likely, like it's like you're creating fans, right? And then this person starts out with like 20,000 fans, right? Like let's say it's LeBron James, or like like let's say it's LeBron James, right? And you like LeBron James, and then you start liking LeBron James, but he only had 20,000 fans. Your energy can make him have 40,000 fans on top of the 20,000, right? So now he has 60,000 fans, bro, and really fast, and he might not be ready for that shit, and that gives it's too much. It's too much pressure to put on him, because now not only does he have to perform, you're kind of putting responsibility on him to always perform and always be the best and always doing that, and that might be too much. A little bit is fine, but not too much. And there's also the case of, well, if you do this, you have to be aware that you are kind of putting that person above you, right? You're putting that person above you, and in apocalyptic, and like I said, I feel like dark empaths might be more inclined to practice this line of thinking more than like everyday people. Most everyday people are not going to give a shit. Like, if they like something, they like something. If they don't, they don't, and that's it. And they might not be aware, and that's okay, because people like that might not be giving that much energy into the thing that they like any fucking ways, right? So it's not a big deal. But when you come into realization that you are capable of putting energy into something and alchemically receive something back from it, because you are kind of getting something back from it, because you're getting amusement, you're being amused, you're being entertained. It gives a certain sense of purpose to your life and stuff like that, blah blah blah, whatever. So you are getting something out of it at the end of the day. you know oh, I'm always right, this is the best player, blah 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 blah, he always wins, blah blah blah, pride and all kinds of shit, right? And that's fine too, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, when you're doing it on purpose, like in the apocalyptic aftermath magic system, when I teach you how to purposefully put your energy into things, you also become aware of a new realization. And this is another veil that comes down, right? Because there's many veils, and this is one of the veils, and it drops. And once that veil drops, you now understand that there is an interpersonal relationship between you and the energy that is going on, and it's very real. And it does have emotion, and it does have feelings, and it does have worries and things, and so on and so on. So, needless to say, I watch sports, but occasionally. I watch sport occasionally. I don't put as much energy as I used to put in it when I was younger. I try to be careful. I nowadays, if I do watch sports, like I kind of like, I use it as a tool, to make a point or make a statement or some shit like that, to not put pressure on these kids and things like that, because they do feel it and they don't like it, and the spirit of the spirit of the team or the player will let you know that. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Kind of lost my train of thought. So I'm just gonna say, yeah. So in the apocalyptic aftermath magic system, I feel like it's more for dark empath, because you kind of have to be a dark empath to think that way, to like just be like, well, fuck everybody, I'm the best, like that's it's kind of dark. But it's not about like, fuck everybody, I'm the best. It's just, this amount of power is not given to, well, anybody that wants it can get some. That's not a big deal, but it's still a lot of power, and you have to respect it. And when you're kind of like when you're kind of like when you're going through things and you're going through apotheosis and you're taking like a short break to be like, oh yeah, that was cool. It's kind of disrespectful, kind of, more or less, for lack of better terms. It's more disrespectful towards yourself than anything else because you're the one doing the magic, you're the one being amazing, and then you're kind of like, oh, this is amazing. Well, it's not more amazing than what you're doing. 'Cause magic is amazing. When you can practice magic, is amazing. When magic works, it's amazing. When it's not working, it's not really amazing. but and it's not that it's magic that's amazing. It's you that's amazing. And you have to realize that, because you're the one doing it. So, and this is the reason why I say apocalyptic aftermath is not really for everyone, because I feel like the reason why people go into like Levian magic, Ars Goetia magic and stuff like that is because they don't really have to do a personal work on themselves. I mean, it's mostly like, gimme, 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 you know. And in this system that I've created, your interpersonal, like, let's say your shadow work is the thing giving you power, right? Like, you're not just doing it because, oh, it's the right thing to do. Shit. No, yeah, like every aspect of self-realization is actually a magic spell. Like it's actual power that you can exert onto reality, right? So it's kind of like, it's basically saying like confidence, having a high level confidence can permit you to create magic, which is obvious, right? You have to be confident in order to do magic. If you're not confident, you won't be able to do magic, right? It's like the people that make fun of me because I talk about cups all the time, right? The reason why they feel like that, regardless, because at the end of the day, what I'm saying is true, and anybody that's smart enough to realize it will see that it's true. So if you're laughing, it's because you lack the confidence of seeing yourself in that way, because you feel like if you see yourself in that way, it might not even be, other people are not going to judge you. How can people judge you if they don't even know what you're doing, right? So it's like a self created fear that you're going to make fun of yourself, for which will happen because people do tend to do that. Sometimes people make fun of themselves. They have this toxic masculinity about them. They have this toxic masculinity about them, and they will make fun of themselves, and they are gonna quit. They might even try it. Like, how do you really think? Like, there's a bunch of people. I'm super sure that there's like millions of men out there that have tried doing magic and getting butt naked in front of a fucking mirror. And they felt fucking stupid and they quit because they felt stupid. They were making fun of themselves. They lacked the confidence, but that stems from confidence. You didn't believe that what you were doing was true. You didn't believe that what you were doing was true. You didn't believe that what you were starting was a value that you wanted to have. You wasn't sure of it. You didn't have the confidence behind it, right? As of somebody that has the confidence behind what he's doing, is going to be like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to get butt naked in front of this fucking mirror, and it's going to fucking work. And I'm not going to quit until it fucking works. Like, because I want it to fucking work, then that's a confident person. A less confident person is going to try for 5 minutes and be like, fuck this. Like, this is fucking stupid. I'm acting like a fucking idiot. And I think I'm guilty of doing that too, now that I'm thinking about it. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think I'm a little bit guilty of doing that too. Like, I'm not very patient. So if something doesn't work fast, like, I'm just not into it. And like, I'll quit. Like, in a jiffy. So so sometimes I'm guilty. I have that mentality. I am guilty of being like that also. Um, Nobody's perfect. So so yeah, man. Like I said, these low vibrational witchcraft that they're using to make you feel like it's high vibe. It's not, and you can easily overcome these entities and powers that be, to a point where, well, I don't know to what extent, to be quite honest, because the last man to have tried to be independent was Oscar Wilde, I think. No, but I think Oscar Wilde was an independent. No, that's a fucking book, dude. No, what am I talking about? There's this dude. He was like this original. He was the original. They made a movie. Citizen Kane was about him. I think The Great Bigsby was about him too. But that was like one of the last dude that tried to. He made like Pan Am Airlines and shit like that. Like he was like a airline tycoon. He didn't even start in airlines. Give me a second here. Well, I think somebody doesn't want this information to come out. I'm having quite a lot of difficulty finishing my sentences. So as I was saying, and I feel like that's why I should keep going. I kind of wanted to stop, but I don't know. I have a feeling that this is what I'm talking about might be more interesting than I think it is. I could be wrong. Anyways, so yeah, because this is just like a big. This is starting to look like a huge. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This is starting to look like a huge apocalyptic optimath commercial, which is fine. Which is fine, but like I said, it is a difficult magic system to get into, and like I said, like with Levian magic or Ars Goetia magic and stuff like that, I feel like it's more like a one and done kind of magic system. You do this, you get that, bada bing, bada boom, wham bam, take your man. But apocalyptic optimath is a little bit more insane. you know I didn't put apocalyptic in front of it for no reason. Like, it's a little bit more insane, where like it's very cerebral. You have to and it's emotional too. It's a very hard emotional battle, because I will ask you to become defenseless. And what I mean by that is like you can't come into apocalyptic aftermath with limiting beliefs. Like, you can't come into like apocalyptic aftermath with limiting beliefs. You can't come into apocalyptic aftermath with limiting beliefs and dare I say wayward generation Z thinking, right? Because our generation thinks differently than what it used to, and dare I say, and that's normal, but there's certain aspects of the new generation that is totally unnecessary, and useless. It's useless junk, and the world changes and stuff like that, and that's fucking normal. But there are still people in the world that are ancient, and they will remain so. Like, I'm ancient, and there's a reason why I'm ancient, and and there's a reason why I'm still around. Well, there's one thing that I find quite interesting. There's this thing that I've never understood. There's this thing where Jesus meets a dude, like Jesuits go and meet Jesus, and they're like, and he's like healing somebody and stuff. Like, I never understood That part, I don't know what the fuck it means. I have no idea. If anybody can explain what the fuck that part means, sorry, pardon me. If anybody can explain what that part means, you're fine to explain it to me. I'm that grammatically speaking, it just gives me the most severe headache, like, like aneurysm. So because it's a part where Jesus, okay, so Jesus knew that their thoughts and said to them, so the Pharisee, okay, but when the Pharisees heard this, they said, it is only by Beelzebub, the prince of demons, that this fellow drives out demons. And then Jesus answered some weird gangster shit. Like some really weird gangster shit. He's like, Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can this kingdom stand? And if I drive demons out by Beelzebub, by whom do your people drive them out? So then they will be your judges, but it is by the spirit of the guy that I drive out demons. Then the kingdom of the guy has come upon you. What the fuck does that mean, bro? Like what? Anyways, but that's not what I want to talk about. The interesting part here that I personally like, and I personally relate to, is when it says, then they brought him a demon-possessed man who was blind and mute, right? Blind and mute. And Jesus healed him so that he could both talk and see. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is why I like that line. I feel like I feel like that's very relatable to what I do, because this is giving you sight, right? For the peoples, of course, I'm not trying to give you full blown sight because that might scare the shit out of you, and you might run the other way or end up in the fucking hospital. So, of course, I'm not giving you full sight, and full sight is for specific people that can handle it, and that's not a lot of people, but I am giving you sight. I am giving you cues on how to perceive these sorts of things, these sorts of happening and whatever's going on. Like I said in my other video, the person said it better than I did. Alchemicizing. Did I say that right? Alchemicizing. I think so. I think I said it right. It just sounds wrong. Alchemicizing evil, your enemies, right? It's kind of like you're using, that's what I was trying to say. I mean, and I said that because I didn't want the person to worry, but it's actually something that I wouldn't say. And what I mean by that is I would be inclined to like go to court, do this, do that, and blah, blah, blah. I would do all that and never tell you that that's how I perceive life. And it's not something it's not that I don't want to say that that's how I perceive life. It's just, I don't want people to think, because the thing about spirituality is people don't usually connect spirituality with fighting. When people think spirituality, they think, pacifism and shit like that. So, and I feel like if you see life that way, to some people it might seem that you're like kind of like in a dream world or some shit like that, or you're having a fucking psychosis or some shit, bro. Like, so I don't really say that, but actually that's like a big dose of power, because a real magician doesn't give a fuck, like if People that do curses, do they sit there and be like, oh no, life is not like that, so I can't do curses? No, like you pay him money and he fucking cursed the shit out of the person that you want him to curse, and that's the end of fucking story. But how do they do that, right? So anyways, so and I guess the other thing is the Illuminati is so big, there's so many people that it kind of sounds ridiculous that one person is kind of like, well, fuck these guys. I can flip them over their fucking heads, whatever the fuck I feel like. Like, so it does sound crazy at the end of the day. And not only that, but I'm telling you that you can do that too. Like, but it's not crazy. And that's literally how you should see it. And that's because that's how they act. Dare I say, it's kind of how they act. And that's the thing I was talking about in my other video. It's not really a physical battle. And it's like I said, I mean, these guys are like, some of them have to be tired. Maybe there's a part of them that's kind of like, bro, just take the fucking reins already. Like, like, what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I've been doing this for 200 years, bro. Like, I want to go to sleep, nigga. And I can't, and these people can't rest because there's not enough of us doing what they're doing. And if we don't know how they do what they do, well, humanity is not going to progress. So right now, the only reason why humanity is progressing is thanks to their bullshit. And that's not right. Because I don't see a balance here. Like I said in my other video, there's only one Hollywood. Why is there one Hollywood? Why can't there be a Seattle Wood? Or a Chicago Wood? Or I don't fucking know, Minnesota Wood. like, why is there only one Hollywood? What the fuck is this? Like, what? Like, why? Like, what? I don't get it. And I feel like it's because people have a skewed vision of life. They have a skewed vision of life. Like most, they implement. This is fucked up shit, dude. So I know this is very unpopular, and a lot of people are not gonna like these notions, and I completely understand. And it's not easy to accept, but we were programmed into manhood. Now I know you're a man, you are strong, you're a man, blah blah blah. But we were still programmed. We're still conditioned into thinking things. Right? It's like we're still conditioned with, you gotta work hard and blood, sweat, and tears and shit, and that makes you a man. And that's okay. But now it's gone too far. It's gone to a point where it's threading the lines of laziness. Like like it's threading the line of mental laziness. Like just doing the most to not have to think at all. And that's bad. And when it gets like that, you can't really evolve. You can't really progress. There's no progression. And I feel like at least this generation doesn't have that much of that problem. But there's still a lot of problem with this generation. Right? Because nowadays these kids are going to be able to do everything. They're going to be able to do everything. They're going to be able to work hard like a man, and also be able to do intellectual work. And that's good. I feel like that's a man. When you can do both, that makes you more of a man. I feel like when you can only do one, I feel like you're just one dimensional. Like you're flat foot, right? And you don't want to be a flat foot. Nobody wants to be a flat foot. I don't want to be a flat foot. You know. The idea of the Ubermensch and stuff like that, but it's not even that deep. It's not even that deep. But like I said, it feels like we're being like, so it's kind of at the point where it's kind of like, yeah, okay, these guys are doing all this shit and blah 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 blah, but I feel there's also a kind of like, we're kind of waiting on you. Like, you're waiting on us, but we're the ones waiting on you kind of vibe also. You know, and that might be a very small vibe. It might be a very minuscule vibe, barely noticeable, but I think that vibe is still there, and I feel like that's, personally, I am a pacifist, by the way. And personally, my pacifist mindset leads me to believe that this battle can only be won if we fight on the same playing field that they're fighting on. Because at some point where you don't want to show up somewhere, you're kind of like a bitch. I don't care how big you are, or you know what shit you're talking about. If you're running away every time that platform comes in front of you and you run away from it, you kind of bitch. You kind of a bitch, bro. You kind of bitching out. Like, so you know, and I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. I mean, that's how I see it. If the platform keeps showing up and you never want to go there, it might be because you're scared of being ridiculed. You're scared of you scared. You're scared of what people might think. You're scared of being ridiculed. You're scared of being made fun of. And that's not very manly, because a man is not scared of being fun of. As a matter of fact, a man, if you make fun of a man, he'll beat your ass. You know? So, you know, and it feels like people are trying to find ways to not work. And I feel like that's the reason why they're winning. That's the reason why they're winning. The reason why they're winning is because people are not fighting back. They're not fighting back. And it's not like they're not fighting back physically, but that doesn't help me necessarily. I mean, sure, it's funny if I see it on the video or shit, but that doesn't help me on an everyday basis. Like, that does absolutely nothing for me. If you beat a guy up somewhere in the middle of the fastness of the universe, I'm lucky enough if I even know about it. You know, like, that is very unhelpful. That's very unhelpful to humanity. It might be helpful to you in your situation, your case, but it's not helpful to, like, the rest of us. It doesn't change anything. They're still gonna be doing fuckboy shit. They still have control over the masses. Like, you punching the fuck out of one of these guys is not gonna release the stranglehold that they have on people's minds. And that's where we need to bring that battle. We need to bring the battle into people's minds. We have to play on that plane. The fight is over there, and they're over there with all their fucking soldiers, and they're standing tall and they're standing proud because they have zero competition in front of them, because no one even dares to fucking try. So yeah, their denial-based confidence is kind of warranted. Pretty much so, very much so. It's kind of warranted, bro. Like, you know, they might look crazy, they might look, you know, but at the end of the day, there's only one Hollywood. There's only one Silicon Valley. There's only one Hollywood. There's only one Silicon Valley. There's you know, there's almost just one gender, right? According to these people, everybody's fucking gay, and you know, like, if you like girls, you're a fucking weirdo. Like almost and shit, and then there's the kid trafficking shit, and then there's the rape culture. There's the rape culture shit, and that's fucked up. That's really fucking fucked up. And so and nobody, and matters. There's a lot of work to be done there too, but mostly for us that stand above humanity. Pardon me for saying, like, the teachers and the chosen ones that have a job to do, that have to teach and shit like that, bro. Like, the battle is not where you think it is. The battle is not where you think it is. The battle is somewhere else. You know what I mean? So the battle is somewhere else, and we have to start fighting on their playing field. Because their playing field is not even theirs. It's actually our playing field, but we just left everything behind because we got programmed into thinking that real dudes was just the people, was just slaves. Because that's a slave mentality. You're a slave. You're not a real man. You're a slave. Right? If you're picking up boxes and bringing the blah blah blah, yeah, you're big, and yeah, you can tear somebody's arms off and beat them to death with it. Fine, sure, but you're still a slave, because that's the only shit you know how to do. You don't know anything else. You don't know nothing. You don't know what's going on. You have no idea. You're ignorant, and that's what being a slave is. Being a slave is being ignorant. Pause. No pun intended, no offense meant. I'm gonna explain to you why I said that one day, but not today. just never let it go. You could probably figure it out if you know me well enough. You probably know what I'm talking about. Hello. Okay, so you're a slave. Your ignorance is that's what being a slave. That's how you become a slave, is by being ignorant. That's what a slave is. A slave is somebody that's ignorant. So, and we've been, because of all these pretty commercials, all this fucking advertisement magic. We buy plaid shirts. We go spend $300 on creatine and anabolics, and we try to look as much as the guy looked in the commercial as we can. And we even do the same thing that the guy in the commercial is doing. Shit, we have the same car, we have the same clothes, we have the same haircut. But that guy is just picking up rocks and pylons to bring it from one end of the quarry to the other. He's not doing anything. And we've been led to believe that that's what a man is, and that's what we do. That's exactly what we do. And in the meantime, these guys that have been generating this ideal, that have been making advertisement magic, that's the reason why, like, it's advertisement magic. They've been molding society and transforming society, bending society to their will for ages. But the thing is, cinema doesn't come from, pardon me, I love the USA, but just because I love USA, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell the truth. And cinema doesn't come from America. It comes from Mexico. It doesn't come from America. America are not the best filmmakers. Mexicans are the best filmmakers. We sit here and we think we're watching great movies. These guys were making great movies since the dawn of time. So that's actually our shit that's being used against us, because they shifted your idea, They shifted your line of thinking. They shifted the way people think, and how they shifted the way, now that they have shifted the way people think, they don't consider all that they see to be their things used against them. And now it's been ages that's been going, that gay people have been doing the work that we originally started, either whether they were forced to or whether they wanted to, I am not sure. But there's a lot of gay people in these creative industries. I don't know if that's a coincidence or that's just how it is. I have no idea. I'm just saying they've been doing the work. They've been shaping our reality for quite a long time, at least more than 200 years. The opera, theater, movies, games, music. Everything. Books, stories. They've been mending our reality, and we are a product of their product placement. We are the people that we are today was planned. Everything that we are today was planned. And this is why they don't want free thinkers. This is why free thinkers are so dangerous. This is why critical thinkers are so dangerous. Critical thinkers are seen as terrorists. They are treated worse than an actual terrorist would not go through half of the shit that a critical thinker or a self-empowered individual would go through on an everyday basis. Not even half of it. They would not treat a terrorist the way they treat us. Terrorists do not get harassed every day of their lives. They don't get MK Ultra things every day of their life. They don't have a bunch of traitors, treacherous people around them all their fucking day. Like even the worst criminal on the planet will never receive the same kind of treatment that a person that thinks freely, the person that is endowed with critical thinking, a person that believes in himself, that has self-confidence, is treated. We're treated worse than the worst criminal. They have plans for us. The plan for us is atrocious. It's hell on earth. Like, they make our lives a living nightmare because we're aware of all these things. But a rapist, a child predator, and shit like that, whatever, like a sexual assault person, never, ever will they feel one iota of what we feel. Isn't that weird? Isn't that crazy? It's just a coincidence. So there's no relation between all that I have said and the fact that whistleblowers have to literally like run for their fucking lives every time somebody get aired out. Almost every time. Or there's no coincidence between media services having agents installed to give people bad content and sell it off as good content. It's like I said the other day, this guy, Chicken Proof, I don't remember his YouTube channel, but he made a 45-minute video about like he caught like two predators on I think it's Kick, the Kick stream service, and he like made a video. He like called them out on it, and the next day, the dude that he called out for like having abusive content towards women, they gave that dude some money. Not the guy that aired him out. They gave the guy that was aired out money. The boss of the stream service was congratulating him for his content that was asinine content. But all this is a coincidence, right? Because they could give us good content. I mean, we're not even talking about like gay stuff. We're like, this was just like he was just being a predator. You just like predatory attitude on kick, and he got like, and people congratulated him for being such a disgusting asshole, you know. So like I said, they work on a very low vibrational standpoint, and like I said before, I feel like you can shift your reality into something better without necessarily having to put yourself in a harm's way. Because I'm a firm believer that if you're capable of obtaining a higher shift in dimensions, in parallel dimensions, and you can quantum leap into a success mindset and success lifestyle, that will help a lot more than, you know, just punching somebody in the face. You know, like, you know, and it does, because you become a beacon. You become a beacon of hope, and that's what you need to become. You need to become a beacon of hope. Not everybody's going to be able to become beacons of hope, because you're carrying the weight. You're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders, and you have to be steadfast. I mean, I don't think it's that hard, but you know, that's the main goal. That's the real fight. That's what you're trying to become. You know, you're trying to become and not a lot of people stepped up to the plate to become a leader, but not everybody's going to make it. Not everybody's going to be able to become a leader, and you have to understand, like, this is not about God. This is not about, like, even God, like, whatever, like, you can say this is about God and shit, but at the end of the day, what are you going to become? Like, oh, there's 144,000 and I'm going to restart the world with 144,000. What does that mean? You're a leader. That means you're going to lead people. So what does that mean? That means you read the Bible and you understood something. It was a spell. You cursed yourself. you cursed yourself. So did I. You cursed yourself, and you thought it was about some other shit, and it's not. And now you're stuck in this fucking curse, this weird fucking curse that kind of making you into, well, you know, it's, I mean, is it a curse, or it might, well, I kind of call it a curse, but because there's spells that start off as a curse, but it actually gives you something at the end. That shit happens too, you know, kind of low-key kind of energy, you know, shit. But, you know, and I feel like that's one of them. It's like, if you read the Tablet of Taught, it's like, wisdom is like a curse. You know, wisdom is like a curse. And the more wisdom you have, the more curse you feel. You know, because nobody understands you. People don't see life the same way you see life, blah, 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 blah. You see shit that other people don't see, and blah, blah, blah. And you're the only one to see it, and blah, 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 blah. So we all get that. So, and what I'm saying is the same thing with this specific mindset. It's a specific chosen one type of thing. If you are truly chosen ones because you read some shit that you probably shouldn't have read, and now you're stuck because you said, like, yeah, you want to do it, you know, and you don't know when. But like prayer, you have to be careful what you're saying when you're praying. That's the thing. You have to understand what you're saying when you're praying, bro. You know, and now you're stuck being one or four, like, you're stuck in this fucking thing where you have to become a leader. And I don't think they mind doing that, because it will destroy you, you know, and it destroys more people than it actually makes. Like, who's a real leader? Who's a beacon? Like, who's creating jobs? Who's creating jobs, and who's a beacon that's not Illuminati? Name me one. Find me one. Find me one. I'll work for him right now. I will work for that dude right now. I'm not even fucking kidding. Find me one. So nobody's really doing that now. People think this is about God. It's not about God. This is about you. You entered a universe. You entered a dimension that you wasn't aware of where you were entering or what the fuck you were doing. And now that thing is coming after you. It's coming to collect. And it's not playing games. It's coming to collect and it's not playing games, bro. So it's either you get on it or or you die. And so it is kind of a curse, because if you had never read it, this wouldn't be happening. If you have never gave your consent, this wouldn't be happening. Like, you wouldn't be part of this, right? Or maybe you would, but that would make you extra special. That means, like, the Illuminati specifically is targeting you for a specific reason, and it has nothing to do with religion or the fact that you're they would attack you still if you were a self-motivated person. They would attack you if you were self-motivated, right? If you had critical thinking, you would get attacked regardless. It wouldn't be this bad. You wouldn't feel like a chosen one. You'd be more like Jordan Peterson. You'd be more like Jordan Peterson, which, I don't know, he gets death threats and shit like that, but I don't think he gets cursed. I don't think they send witches after Jordan Peterson and shit like that. I'm surprised if he even knows what magic is. To be quite honest, bro. He might be. I'm just saying, like, he obviously is not under a severe amount of duress, obviously, but he does get targeted. He is being attacked and he is fighting a good fight, and people disagree with what he says and they agree with what he says, and the whole 9 yards. So you would be like that kind of character, right? Where you would see something is wrong, you can't put your finger on it, but something's fucked up. You can see where the big red line is, where there's a error, and you're trying to correct it, or you're trying to make sense out of it and shit, and then there's like 144ers, chosen ones that believe that God is a good guy and that he's gonna do this, and the reason why all this is happening is because he's coming back and blah blah. No, you are fucked. It's either you, that means, it just means if you're chosen one, you are fucked. Why? Because you accepted to become a leader. So now you have to become a leader, but this is a very hard job, and you're basically saying you're going to go up against all the powers, all the evils in the world in order to become that fucking thing, right? You're screwed. Horrendously screwed. But it's not that bad. It's only not that bad if y'all can't work together. If y'all can't work together, yeah, it's that bad. You're going to be suffering for the rest of your fucking life. So will I, probably. But yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, and that's what you're here to do. You're here to become a leader, and you have to understand that you're here to become a leader, and that's what you're learning. What you're learning is not to be like God. What you're learning is to be a leader of men, and you're going to have to come to that realization one day or another. You might run away from business as much as you want, but it's going to catch up to you regardless. It doesn't matter how the world changes. It doesn't matter, because you can't escape business. Without business, the world doesn't work. There's no escaping business. You want to know why there's no escaping business? Because you live in the woods and you are literally tired of walking. You're smart, right? You're smart. You live in the woods and you're smart. That's an important factor. You live in your woods and you're smart, and you notice that it takes a lot of energy to go get some water from the lake to bring it back to the village, right? And you're smart, and so now you're gonna think of a way to bring the water from the village back to the village, what you did. But what happens? Now everybody wants the system that you created that gets water from the from the lake to the village to get one in their homes, right? So what happens? What happens now? Now you become industrial. Now you're starting to manufacture. Now you're creating products. And now you're kind of tired of working for free. So now you're kind of like, motherfucker, you better give me, if you want that water pulley system that I invented, you better give me something in return, because I just made 40,000 of them motherfuckers and I'm fucking tired of it. you know, like, so you better make this fucking interesting for me, because I'm done here. You know what I mean? So business will never disappear, and it's more important than you know. And you're trying to slither your way out of this situation. It's not gonna work. And if it does work, then that means somebody's gonna drop a nuclear bomb on our heads, and all this shit is over. Because there's no point to us existing. And anyways, not only is there no point to us existing, we don't even want to exist. We're not even trying to live. So somebody might as well just end our fucking misery right now. And you might think this is bullshit, but one of them days, bro, whether you like it or not, you're gonna realize that this is what what the fuck I'm talking about is what you were meant here to do. And it's probably not. Maybe you just shouldn't have read the shit that you read. You know, because like I said, I don't think they mind people figuring this out, because it kills. It kills. It kills just as much as a gun does, if not more. This line of thinking kills more people than guns do. So they don't mind if you read that shit, because they know they feel confident enough to know that you're not smart enough to understand what the fuck going on. And even if you are, well, there's too much of them in their heads. There's too much of them for you to do any. So they can't be any fucking different. So regardless of what you do, you're screwed. In their heads, that's how they're thinking. Regardless of what you're doing, you're screwed. You know, 144,000, you're gonna just lead men. So what are you doing? You're leading men. What does a teacher do? He teaches men. Like, what the fuck? So now there's no beacons, and we need to be beacons. I want to be a beacon. I want to be a beacon. I want to be a beacon of business. I want to make jobs. I want to create jobs. I want to give people security. I want to give people job security. I want to give people job security. I want to give them a secure place to work at, a place where they can actually express themselves and expand on their processes and what they do. Give them an opportunity to be able, what they know how to do and how to do it. You know, I want to be a beacon. I want, absolutely, absolutely. Ethical business and innovation, expansion, freedom. You know, freedom of critical thinking and use of creation, and freedom of creative concepts too. You know, because I'm pretty sure these movies, we could do movies a whole lot cooler than what the fuck we have right now. I am sure of it. I am sure of it, man. I am fucking, and I'm not even talking about technology, man. I'm just thinking just scripts. I'm pretty sure we can. There's some pretty imaginative, obviously there's some imaginative dudes out there that could probably write us. They could probably save an entire planet with a script. Probably the whole damn universe with the script. The script is so damn good that this motherfucker just be like, man, you know what? This universe deserves to live, man. That script was so good, bruh. That script was so good, man. Universe deserved to live. You know? So, and nobody's working on doing that. Everybody's just selling the fuck out like it's goddamn hotcakes. like it's a fucking cupcake or something. Like, what the fuck is that? And not only that, these guys now, because everybody keeps selling out, now these guys are stuck and doing the same shit they've been doing for the past 300 fucking years. I'm pretty sure they're a little bit tired. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they're going to give up their place that easily. I don't think they're just going to get up and just be like, yeah, take it. But, man, if somebody good enough pops up and does the thing like the thing is supposed to be does, I'm pretty sure like motherfuckers be like, fine, keep it. You know, like you know, like whatever, you know, like. And I guess I feel like that's what people don't understand, you know, and I might be wrong a little bit, but there's a little bit of that in there. And I know for a fact that that's what we need to do though. We need to start creating beacons. We need to start creating entrepreneurs that have multiple revenues of income, that are not assholes, that are not pricks, that are not weirdos, and you know, and just rebuild the reality the way that it's supposed to be built. You know, give back the knowledge to our children the way we were supposed to give them. The knowledge that they actually need, the knowledge that is actually useful, the perceptions that are actually useful. Stop living in fear. Stop living in fear of each other. Stop living in fear of what might or might not happen. Stop living in fear of all kinds of nonsense. Clean this earth. Remove the pollution. Remove the pollution. Clean the earth, man. Cleanse this fucking shit. Anyways, I'm out. See you guys later. Have a good one.